love that.
All right, YouTube. This is the Brain coming at you with my collaborator, Mr.
What's up, guys? Batman here. We're doing some fun stuff.
Excellent. So tonight we're going to be doing a couple things. We're going to start off with some of the rarest cards from the Kingdom Hearts TCG, which are going to be the 3 GSRs that you see here, and then the Sora Awakening promo. I know Vampus showed the Sora Awakening previously, but this is the Japanese version, so ooh, exciting Japanese symbols there. It does absolutely nothing other than being a level 3, has 5 attack, 2 magic, enough said.
So we're basically going to take turns here for a second and go over some of the effects. God, I hope my voice is picked up on your camera. So we're going to go over Maleficent first. By the way, if you can't tell, that is my case sitting there with the King Mickey. I owed him on a couple things, and he picked it up for me, so I'm really happy to finish off his set for him, in all honesty. He already had the Maleficent and the Sora, but I'm really happy to hit him up with the King so he can finish his set, because we worked some stuff out for teammates, so it was awesome.
So real quick,
so
guys, so Vamp, real quick, I'm not a hand model or anything, but thank you. Continue.
So let's go ahead and go over Maleficent. This just kind of over, like, yes, the GSRs are really pretty. They're a little harder to come by, but in all honesty, the fact of the matter is they're not great. It's like I said, even in the video with Roxas, I didn't play him in my main deck for the fact of the matter that he just wasn't a great option. He's an option to do in the Roxas deck because he's playable, but Roxas sustains itself so hard. So I'm going to go over Maleficent, go back over the King, and then he's going to go, and then I'll go over Final Form before we get into what we're going to do after. Maleficent has a come into play effect. It says all counters on your opponent's play area are transferred to this card. So that's actually kind of cool. But it's basically only usable against Psyx and Beauty and the Beast. That's basically the only decks you're going to see it used against. And then it has the ability called Transform. It's basically the exact same thing as Jafar turns to a genie. Transform. If this card is discarded from your opponent's world, you may place Dragon Maleficent from your hand in its place, ignoring the dark limit and play level of that world. It's a 17 POW starting level 7, so it's only a late game card as a GSR, as a dark venom card. It is searchable by stuff like Search Ghost. Overall, it's not that fantastic, just because it's mainly only usable against 2 decks that never saw play in Japan. Even now that the game's dead, people experiment with those decks, but most people drop them very quickly after and turn to other things because she's really pretty, but she's not playable.
Yes.
Like, she's playable only to the fact of, do you want to force your opponent to not be able to world race for 1 turn in a 2-card combo where you could 1-card your opponent with something like Cave of Wonders Guardian that's a rare.
Right. Yeah, just for being so hard to find, we all would have hoped the ability would have been stronger, and it may have been better when additional sets had come out, but, now that the game is completely gone, it's just, she's one of those cards that you kind of wonder what the original thought was when they made her. I mean, again, beautiful looking card, but just terrible.
Yeah, she's overall not playable, like, in any way. Like, you can play her, but overall, so much better options, like Cave of Wonders Guardian, that you could put 2 Cave of Wonders Guardian in her and Dragon Maleficent's place if you're really wanting to shut your opponent down for a turn.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
So, yeah, if anybody has these, by the way, like, we are looking to pick up extra sets, just like, they come down to collector's purpose at this point, like, because neither of us are going to play any of these. Like,
right.
We know they're not great. I hope you guys know they're not great. We're just kind of showing that they look pretty, we want to pick up more, and we just want you guys to know what they do.
Yep. Yeah, so in that same spirit then, so let's move on from Maleficent, slightly disappointing, to the King, who's beautiful looking, but also slightly disappointing. So if you play the video game, Kingdom Hearts 2, his effects will kind of make a little bit more sense. If you don't, then it's sort of lost on you. But Basically, this is a limit 1 card. Whenever a light player's HP becomes 0 because of your opponent, add 1 HP to your life so he prevents you from dying. Discard all, and it says all in caps here, friend, equipment, Dark Heartless, Nobody cards from your playing field and 2 cards from your hand in order to place this card on top of your player card. Alright, so you got all that, so you basically ditch everything you have plus 2 cards in your hand to keep from dying. You must then discard this card during your discard phase unless it was played on top of a mysterious boy. In other words, Roxas. While the king is your player card, you may play friend cards at any level, which would be great if you had any resources left after getting rid of everything. Now, if you're playing Roxas, you could leave this hanging around, and he's got 30 support value, which is great. But then you still only have the 1 HP, because he takes the place of your player card, and then you're just sort of stuck with hoping and praying that you get something good, on the following turn. I mean, that's a huge risk for getting such a sexy-looking card into play. So again, really cool idea, execution just not there.
Like, in all honesty, if they had made him to where he could stay in play over any player light that drops, he'd be a lot better.
Yeah. Agreed.
Instead of only being able to basically he's mainly only playable in Roxas, which, in all honesty, doesn't really make sense because he comes and saves your ass when you're Sora, not Roxas.
Right. And the other thing is, if you're in Roxas and you go down to 0 HP, you should lose that game anyway, because that deck is all about power. It's usually pretty hard for you to lose challenges and things like that on a consecutive basis. So
right. Most of the time, if you play that right, you should be sitting with an Olette, a Yin Sid, and one of probably a Samurai, meaning you have a negation, a giant, basically a continuous Ultima weapon with Samurai. You've got the negation with Yin Sid, and you've got Olette pumping your player card up by 5 points. And then if you add that together with an Oblivion and Oathkeeper, you're sitting at a continuous 15.
Yep.
So you should not be losing challenges, and if you are, you shouldn't be losing more than 1 or 2 here and there.
Exactly. Okay, well, why don't you go ahead and do Final Form, because we're running a little over 7 minutes here on this one, so maybe...
Wow, holy crap.
Yeah.
Okay, so in all honesty, Final Form, in my opinion, is probably the least playable of all of them. Just for the fact of his requirements, it's ridiculous. And he's only playable aspect. You'd only play him in a World Racer deck. That's it, guys. You would only play him in a World Racer deck, but the fact of what you have to do to get him out is stupid. So he's a 20 attack value, 6 magic, which is ridiculous. We're talking Merlin, almost Yin Sid status magic here. Level 5, he's a player light form change. Discard 7 friend cards from your friend area and all cards in your hand. Put this card on your Sora card of level 1 or greater. He has a come into play effect that all dark cards in play are discarded. Meaning if you're playing against a Dark Riku deck, you basically shut their card down. So, I mean, that's okay. This card may equip up to 2 equipment cards and cannot play level worlds or even challenge your opponent. This card can battle twice per turn. This card can play 2 world cards per turn. But friend card, you must discard this card.
So his voice cut out on the Skype there, but basically if you play a friend card, you have to discard Final Form, which is just ridiculous.
Like, why would you want, one, you have to start by discarding 7 friend cards to get him into the play area anyway. So you're loaded up with friends of that, but basically you shut your entire hand down and are negging half of your deck. At that point, every time you draw a friend, you discard it. It becomes pointless to have friends in the deck.
I guess the irony here with this card is it's called Final Form because it's probably the final thing you'll do in that game, and you'll either win or you'll die a horrible, miserable death.
I was about to say, or your opponent's going to Ultima Weapon your teeth and just rock your world.
Absolutely. But hey, you get 2 worlds a turn. I mean, that's sweet, right? Right? I guess.
Right. And if you've got 2 level 3s, I mean, you're getting 6 levels of world. So, I mean, you're world racing pretty hard.
Yeah, this again, cool, really interesting idea, execution, not great. So I think what we should probably do at this point is maybe break here and we'll do Timeless River as a separate video because we're at 10 minutes already on this one.
Yeah, that works for me.
All right, so stay tuned, guys.
We're going to the next video is going to be him doing Timeless River. We're going to continue to do it as a collab video. I don't know what is in this deck. He asked if I wanted to see what's in it. I said no because I really want to see what's in it as he goes through the deck profile. So it's a complete surprise to me as much as it will be to you guys, which is going to make it an even more fun deck profile. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Take it, Brian.
Awesome. See you guys in a minute.